Okay, so you send over this article, and wow, that title, delete all texts on your phone if you see these two words. I mean, that really jumps out.
It really does, doesn't it? And honestly, that urgency, it's pretty justified right now.
Okay.
So the plan for this deep dive is basically to unpack what those words are, why they're so dangerous, and, give you the tools to stay safe. That's the main goal here.
Sounds good. And this isn't just some random scare piece, right? It's Zach Doffman for Forbes. He really digs into security and privacy stuff.
Exactly. He knows his beat. And what makes this super relevant today is that the article was just updated April 17th, 2025.
Oh, wow. Today?
Yeah, and it includes findings from a brand new government report. Get this. It shows a 500% jump in these text-based attacks since the article first came out.
500%. That's huge.
It's massive. An explosion, like you said. It just shows how quickly this whole thing is escalating and, frankly, how much more likely you are to actually get one of these texts now.
Okay, so clearly we need to understand this. We're going to look at who's sending these, how the scams actually work, and what we can do about it.
That's the plan. Let's start with the who. The article points pretty clearly to organized Chinese criminal networks.
Organized crime. Okay.
Yeah, targeting both iPhone and Android users, mainly in the US, but elsewhere too, all through simple text messages.
And these texts, they don't always look like scams initially, do they? They mention small things like packages or tolls.
That's the hook. It's deliberate. They often start with something small, seemingly minor, like a tiny fee for a package delivery or an unpaid road toll, makes you less suspicious, maybe more likely to click.
Ah, okay. To sort it out quickly.
Exactly. But the real aim is way bigger. They want your sensitive info, credit card numbers, passwords, enough to steal your identity.
And that number you mentioned, $470 million lost just last year from text scams.
Yep, $470 million reported to the FTC in 2024. That's not just numbers, it's people getting seriously hurt financially, having their identities compromised. It really brings home the impact.
Definitely. So the small fee is just bait.
Yeah.
And it sounds like these groups are getting seriously sophisticated. There's mention of one specific game.
They mention new research into a group called the smishing triad.
Smishing triad.
And apparently they've massively expanded their fraud campaign since early 2025. And here's the crazy part. They're using over 60,000 different web domains.
60,000. How is that even possible?
It's staggering, isn't it? By constantly switching between so many domains, they make it incredibly difficult for Apple, Google, security software, anyone really, to effectively block them.
It's like whack-a-mole, but with tens of thousands of voles.
Exactly, and that directly explains why we're suddenly hearing so much about toll fraud scams specifically. It's likely this group or groups like them driving that surge.
Wow. Okay. And there was a quote in there, too, from Zimperium's Kern Smith about mobile devices being vulnerable.
Yes, and that's a really key point. Our phones, they don't always have the same robust security layers as our computers.
Right.
Cybercriminals know this, so they're pouring resources into targeting us via mobile, especially SMS. It's kind of the path of least resistance for them right now, and highly effective.
It's unsettling thinking a simple text can be part of such a big operation.
Yeah.
Makes you look at your phone differently.
It really does.
Okay, so we've got the who these organized networks and the scale, which is frankly terrifying. Let's zoom in on the texts themselves. What should people be looking for? What are the telltale signs?
Okay, so the basic anatomy is usually pretty simple. You've got the lure, the unpaid toll, the package thing, something to get you to react.
Right, the bait.
And then the dangerous part, the link. That's where they get you.
And they try to make it look real, right? Like it's coming from a legit company or even the government.
Absolutely. Impersonation is key. They'll mimic logos, use official-sounding language. They bank on you trusting that familiar name.
But the link itself is where the trick lies. You mentioned the domain name part, the TLD.
Exactly. The top-level domain, the .com, .org, whatever, is often a huge clue. These scam links frequently use TLDs from outside the U.S. or just ones that don't match the company they're pretending to be.
So if it claims to be, say, USPS, but the link ends in something weird and not .gov or .com.
That's a major red flag. Huge. Delete it. But they're getting sneakier.
How so?
Well, there's this thing the article calls the dash trick, particularly with the .com.
Oh, dash trick. Okay, what's that?
So they insert a hyphen, a dash, right after the .com. It might look like your bank.com, track. Some other site.cn or something.
Ah, so your eye sees your bank.com and thinks it's okay.
Precisely. You see the familiar brand and the .com, and your brain might just skip over the rest, thinking track is just part of the legit site. But it's not. Everything after that com is the actual malicious domain.
Whoa, that is incredibly deceptive. It plays on how we quickly scan web addresses.
It totally does. It's exploiting our pattern recognition. And the most dangerous version of this they're seeing right now.
Let me guess. Tablet tracked from the headline.
You got it. Comtrack. The Spam House report, which tracks this stuff, says Comtrack basically came out of nowhere and shot straight to #1 on their list of phishing terms found in bad links.
#1. Wow. So it's everywhere.
It strongly suggests a very widespread, very active campaign using that specific trick. The FBI's advice is blunt. See Comtrack in a link. Delete the text immediately. No questions asked.
Just delete it. Okay. And they also mentioned Comtol is starting to pop up.
Yeah, seems like they're iterating. Since Comtrack is working, they're probably trying similar variations like Comtol. Same principle, dash after .com to hide the real destination. See either. Delete.
Got it. Okay, so beyond the dash trick, what about those foreign TLDs? The article specifically called out TOP.
Yes, that was the other big warning. If you see a link ending in TOP, the advice is the same. Immediate red flag, delete the message.
And why TOP? Is it commonly used for scams?
Apparently so. It's a Chinese TLD, and, well, it seems to be favored by cybercriminals, possibly due to less stringent oversight historically. You might not recognize it, but seeing it should make you instantly suspicious.
And it wasn't just TOP, was it? There were others mentioned by the Anti-Phishing Working Group.
Right. APWG also flagged others like CYU and .xin. Basically, any TLD that seems unusual, unfamiliar, or just doesn't fit the supposed sender should make you pause.
Don't click if it looks weird. Seems like sound advice.
Absolutely. And it's quite telling that A-Chan, the body that oversees domain names, actually issued a formal breach notice to the Tadapi registry operator way back in mid-2024 because they weren't handling abuse reports properly.
And that wasn't resolved even by March this year.
Apparently not. Which, doesn't exactly build confidence. It shows why criminals might flock to domains like that if the oversight is lacking. So yeah, seeing .top, big warning sign.
Okay, this is super helpful. Specific things to look for: Comtrack, Comportol, and TLDs like TOP to CYU, .xin. Crucial takeaways. Now let's talk scale again. We mentioned the FTC number earlier, $470 million lost.
Yeah, that number from the FTC for 2024 really underscores the financial damage. It's staggering.
Just mind-blowing. And the most common scams reported were the fake package ones, but also the toll scams were focused on. Fake bank alerts.
Package delivery scams were #1, but fake bank fraud alerts, those fake unpaid tolls, even those weird wrong number texts that try to lure you into a conversation, they're all common tactics reported to the FTC.
It feels like they're hitting us from all angles. And then there was that data about the smishing triad group again, from Silent Push.
Right. The Silent Push data adds another layer. They tracked that one group, the smishing triad, and found they generated over 1 million page visits to their phishing sites in just 20 days.
1 million visits.
Yeah.
In less than 3 weeks.
Oh.
From one group.
Yeah, it averages out to about 50,000 visits a day. And Silent Push thinks the number of actual texts they sent to get those visits could be way higher than the 100,000 SMS per day they previously estimated.
That's industrial scale. It's not just a few people. It's like a factory churning these out.
That's exactly what it is. Highly organized, industrialized crime.
Okay, so given all this, the scale, the tricks, the organization, what's the absolute bottom line? What do people need to do?
The core advice is simple but critical. Don't risk it. Never, ever click links in suspicious texts. Period.
Even if it looks kind of real or urgent.
Especially then. The potential downside, losing money, having your identity stolen, is just way too high. It's not worth the risk. We have to shift our mindset about these messages.
They aren't just annoying spam anymore.
No, they're a primary vector for fraud now. As the article puts it, these industrialized scams are becoming the most likely way people will get defrauded. We need to treat every unsolicited text with suspicion.
So, boiling it all down, the 2 big red flags from that headline: cross-track and a link.
Delete immediately.
And links ending in that TOP domain.
Delete immediately. Those are your clearest action triggers right now.
Got it. Vigilance and skepticism seem key. Pause before you click.
That's your best defense. Always question unexpected texts, especially if they ask you to click something or provide information. Look for those red flags we talked about.
Thinking about how sophisticated and massive this tech scam operation is, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday digital things that seem totally normal, might be hiding similar kinds of threats?
That's a really sobering thought, isn't it? It's a reminder that we need to be constantly aware, constantly critical, not just with text, but across our whole digital lives. What looks innocent might not be.